As I walk towards my window and I open up the blinds, I can hear them squeak open. I look outside and I see that I've beaten the sun. It's starting to somewhat get light out, but it's very calm, very quiet. I look to my left and I look between the two houses. In between the two houses, I can see the lake. It's just becoming visible and it looks very calm. I get very excited because I have this idea to go out and try to beat the sun and kayak out there into the under God's creation and just get excited in doing so. So I take my cup of coffee. As I reach for it, I grab it. It's warm to the touch. Just a perfect sipping temperature, I think. It's in this white coffee cup with a little Mickey Mouse with his golf clubs. And I just smile, and I remember when I got this when I was visiting the theme park. I slurp a sip of the coffee, and it tastes so good. It's bitter but strong and sweet tasting. As I can taste the creamer. It tastes so good. And as I take the sip, I just feel the energy in my body just really waking up, and I get excited, and I get this burst of energy, and I get to set my coffee cup down. I hear it clink on the table, and I start walking across the floor, and I can feel underneath my socks. I can feel the soft carpet just whooshing, and it feels good to my feet to touch. As I walk over to the garage, I take my socks off. I grab my water shoes and put them on, and I open up the garage door, and as I do, it makes a squeaking noise as I open it up. And as I do, I look to my left and open up the garage door and just take a brief moment to step outside. It is a warm, warm morning. I can just feel the humidity already in the air, but it's a perfect one. I look and I walk back into my garage, and I grab my kayak. It's quite heavy, but I've been doing this quite often, so I get very excited. So as I grab it, I can feel it kind of the weight get put onto my shoulders as I start grabbing it and pulling it towards the front door. And as I bring it outside, I put it up on my shoulders, and I say I'm going to come back for my paddle later. So I walk, and I'm so glad because where I can drop the lake is right next to my house, so I can walk right up and just set it and get it ready. So as I walk down the road towards the little dock where I can go off into the lake, I just hear the birds chirping. They're up with me early in the morning. I can hear them chirping. I hear a cardinal fly overhead and chirping. I hear a mourning dove with its beautiful morning song just singing to me, and it makes me think of just complete peace. I get very excited because it's just me and God. So I walk over to the lake. As I approach it, I go from the pavement onto some gravel, and I can hear the gravel below my toes or below my shoes just crunching, and then onto the grass. And the grass has condensation on it. It just gets my feet already starting to get wet, but I get excited. So as I set my kayak down, I feel the coffee kick in. So I start jogging back to my garage. It's just a half a block away, fortunately. And I'm glad because that kayak is heavy. So I run back to the garage, grab my paddle it's yellow and it's blue. I shut my garage door and just take my time to walk back to the lake. As I look over to the right, I see no cars coming down the road, and to the left, same thing. It is literally me and nobody else. So as I walk back towards the lake, I take a moment and I approach my kayak. I set my paddle down next to it and take a moment to just look. And as I look off onto the lake, it literally looks like glass. No one's on it, except maybe I look to the very far right across the lake as far as I can see, and I can see a fishing boat and some even maybe some sailors over there learning in sailing school. So I grab my kayak and I walk up to the dock and drag it over to it, careful to not let it drag on any rocks. And as I drop it in the water, I hear it splash, and some of the water splashes onto my ankle, and it just feels cold. It just is very reviving, but feels so good. So as I carefully ease my body into the kayak, I can feel the weight just push down, and I get in perfectly. It rocks a little bit, but I've been done this a number of times, so I'm perfect. I'm ready to go. I reach onto the dock. I grab my yellow and blue paddle and grab it and just kind of put it into the water, and I push myself off, and I start going off into the lake, and it just I get so excited because it's just a beautiful morning. I can just spend time with myself under God's beautiful creation. So I let myself glide a little bit from the push I just made, and I just slowly start going off into the lake. I look down below, and the oar, as I'm pushing, as I start paddling, I can hear it splash a little bit here and there. But as I look, the water that was clear earlier, closer to shore, starts to get a little more murky. The paddle's I can see it just beneath the surface as I'm paddling, and I can start getting energized as I do so. I start to pick up the speed and start kind of paddling for a little further out into the water. I'm probably 35, 40 feet from shore, and I take a moment to just sit and glide. And I look off behind me as I angle myself and turn around, and I can see where I just came from. The long brown dock. There's the one, and there's multiple. There's some silver docks, there's some wood docks, some metal docks for every house that's on the lake. And these are completely different looking than you can see from the road. These houses that are near me are gorgeous. So I see one, it looks like it's a big brick one. It's 2 stories tall, and there's a little deck on the very top, so they have a beautiful view of the lake. So as I turn to my left and follow the shoreline as I start paddling, I can just feel the water to my left just kind of being stirred up as I go. And off in the distance, I see a fish jump up. I'm like, wow, I wonder what that was. I try to paddle towards it, but I missed it. But it's such a calm morning. Nothing on the lake is moving except myself and then a few fishermen on the other side of the lake that I can barely see. And I do see some small little sailboats they have at the yacht club down by City Park. They're out practicing, so I can see the white sails moving about across the water, and it just makes me think about there's just this perfect breeze that I can feel. Although it's calm, there's just this beautiful calm breeze that just blows across my face, and I can feel it going by my ears, and just a little bit of wind. It's just a perfect morning. So as I look up into the sky, I just take a moment to sit here and look up, and there is not one cloud in the sky. The sun is now up, and the sky is turning this orangish pink color and yellow, and of course the sky is completely blue behind it, but the sun is slowly rising up above the horizon.